Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're talking some World of Warcraft as our little warlock. Our little warlock has finally ticked that first box in his long list of goals. We hit 120. So now we've only got the small matter of grinding out gear, more gear, all to get that item level up. And of course, let's not forget Azerite power. Gonna get that AP. Oh, hang on a second. Is this an ult? Well, buddy, you better go back and start grinding out those essences again. Sucks to be you. So, yeah, that is all most definitely subjects for another day. Today, I want to look back at the leveling process, especially with the changes coming up in Shadowlands with regards to level squashing and the new leveling system. So, those we'll get onto in a second. But first, I want to cast our mind back to a time before, when we got new scaling zones. We wanted to go to places like Outland or Northrend. A whole new leveling experience. And then, of course, they tweaked numbers and things like that, so it became a long grind as well. Now, I think partly that was to do with the imminent coming out of Classic. People saying, we want the grind. That's part of the experience. It needs to be tough, and you need to grind stuff up, and it needs to feel worthwhile. And I was one of them. I will say that. So Blizzard changed the numbers and things like that. And that's where we are in retail now. We've kind of got this scaling-ish leveling experience, and it takes a damn long time to get to 120. Let's be entirely honest. Now, I will say before I go into any more detail, I was fully, as I said before, in the camp that you should experience leveling as it was intended at least once. After that, I don't care. After that, give people looms that give them 200. Damn it! 500%! No, over 9,000% XP. Don't care. So they can level to max super fast, but once they've done the grind, once they've gone all the way up, make it very easy. But I also appreciate that that's, super great for somebody that has done the grind countless times and would be on the receiving end of all those XP goodies, i.e. myself. So it's very easy to turn and say, well, you should do it at least once. But it is something that I think those of us that play WoW a lot, and those that have done so for some time, forget, is that any new player joining WoW doesn't actually have a clue about what is happening. And that's not to their detriment. That is the state WoW is in at the moment. They start full of excitement. They pick the character. I'm going to be a Forsaken Warrior or a Gnome Mage. And then they get this cinematic that gives us some flavour about their race and about the lore of WoW. And then apart from some WASD moves your characters, you can open your bags by pressing B. You can sell things you don't need to vendors. Tips, which most people just click off of because they just come up and are like, go away. I'm enjoying the game. The game is literally like, okay, peace out. I'll see you at 120. Have fun. And that's not great. Simply put, it's not a helpful experience. Now, no, I say it's not that it's not a fun experience. I know many people do still enjoy, still love leveling in WoW. I've got people on my friends list who will level up. They'll get, 6, 7, 8 characters to 120. They will sort of get them to the ability where they can do world quests, and then they will delete those characters, go over onto the Alliance side, and they delete them so they can use the same names, and then start the leveling process again, and they'll reach 120, reach the ability to do world quests, and they'll delete those characters and they'll go back. And that's how they play the game. Now that's where their fun is. And it's like pet battles, it's like mount farming, it's like transmog runs. People get their fun from WoW in many different ways. And that to me is actually a fantastic part of WoW. You know, I love the fact that I can log in, and if I want to get my M+ done, I get my M+ done. If I want to do my islands, I do my islands. If I want to go herb farming for an hour, I'll do some herb farming. If I want to go back to, I don't know, some old raid, I can try and get some transmogs. I can try and get a mount. And that's great. That's the sandbox that is WoW, and that's why it's incredible. That's why I always say you need to utilise the world you have more, Blizzard, because it is incredible, and it's so rich and full of content. But here's the thing, if you are new to World of Warcraft, you don't know any of that's there. And WoW needs new blood. It needs new blood to grow and thrive. Now, yes, I know WoW's been dying since Cataclysm. It's gonna die imminently. Next second, it's dead. Okay, I know. I get that. I've read the forums. I know it's about to die. I get that. But numbers have gone down. And it doesn't help with expansions like BFA that we're in a position where we need new blood, but WoW doesn't help players in any way to gain an understanding of the game. And that's not great. I know about that I have different class specializations. I know I can do dungeons, I can do PvP. I know all those things, and I know they're all coming when I start the game. But with my Warlock, if I didn't know these things were coming up, by like level 6, I would have been done. I would have been like, I cannot do this anymore. Because the thought of grinding out all the way to 120 was horrendous. And I wouldn't have done it. And as I say, I knew there were things like dungeons and being able to spec into or able, to spec my class the way I wanted was all coming. Now, that is the state of where we are now. It's not great. Let's be entirely honest, it isn't great. And before we talk about what I meant by a helpful experience, let's look at what the changes are. Let's look at what's coming up in Shadowlands, okay? Now, a lot of this is taken from Wowhead, so thank you, Wowhead. Nod to you, and I'll put a link to all the articles and things like that. Wowhead and Mo Champion and so on and so forth, all in the description. Okay, as per normal. So, leveling Shadowlands, what can we expect? Shadowlands will introduce a level squash. Existing characters will have their level reduced to a new scale. Level 120 characters will wake up in the new expansion as level 50, and other levels will scale down from there. Changing level numbers will not change your character's relative power. Now, what that basically means is your character will still be able to do exactly the same things. If you could one-shot a bear in, I don't know, wherever, you can still one-shot it. Okay, it's not... You can still do old raids, you can still do those kind of things. It's exactly the same as when they've squashed our numbers. When you used to be able to do 1 million DPS, then they squash your numbers down and suddenly you're doing 30,000 DPS. It's the same. You can still do all the old things you wanted to do, but there we go. It's just, so let's not panic about that. Leveling speed. This is important. In Shadowlands, leveling will progress about 60 to 70% faster for level 1 to 50 compared to the time it takes to get from 1 to 120. That is huge. That is fantastic. Needs to be quicker. I'm all for that. Levels will also become more meaningful. This is another thing. This is when you reach, I want to say about level 20 with leveling. And if you've played WoW before, you'll already know all this. So I get it. I stopped looking at my spell book. I kind of drag my spells down that I need. And then I'll go, okay, so in 8 levels, I will worry about getting such and such. Now, I want to say apologies, I haven't leveled a mage for a while, but I tend to like leveling as Frost. Arcane's better for dungeons, but I level as Frost because I enjoy it. It's fun. But you don't get AoE. I think it's Frozen Orb. Apologies, I don't main a mage. You don't get Frozen Orb until 60, like 59, something like that. It's painful having no real AoE. I get it, Blizzard and that, but it's frustrating. So making each level be meaningful, making when you ding, you go, oh, cool. I want to go and have a look and see what did I get now. Okay, cool. It's Aya Kill Rock. Sorry, Aya Kill Rock, but it's like, I was hoping for something cool, but there we go. So, new players and alts going into Shadowlands. So, new players and alts will have very different choices and leveling experiences. New players will be directed through a specific, limited set of zones for leveling purposes. Experienced players will have more choice. Good. That's very good. So, new player was not specifically designed. So, most probably criteria is be if you've already played the game, if you've got a sort of max level character, you have choices. So let's say you start your new character, and we're like, whoa! They have mentioned about Chromie. Chromie will go, yo, you've been through the grind. You're like, yeah. What do you want to do? I'm like, well, let me do this. And then that's your choice. Whereas if you're a new player, you don't have any max level characters or anything like that, it'll say to you, nope, you're going here and you're going to go through this experience to help you out. So, the new leveling choices for both new players and alts break down into 3 leveling brackets, each of which was discussed in detail. They'll be in the articles, as I say, down below. So new players will do 1 to 10 in Exile's Reach. We'll go into that in more detail in a second, because that's actually really important. And then you'll do 10 to 50, you'll do Battle for Azeroth. Sorry, new players, just suck it up. Actually, the story and the leveling experience isn't too bad in Battle for Azeroth. Then you'll do 50 to 60 will be in Shadowlands. Experienced players, 10 to 50 will be your choice of any of the expansions. You can do anything you want. And then 50 to 60 will obviously be Shadowlands. Now, from what I heard, 1 to 10 is your choice. If you want to do it in Exile's Reach, you can. But if you want to do the starting zones for your race, you can. So you can still pick, the cactus apples, and kill scorpions, and get the miner's pick and everything. If you want to be an orc, you can still do all that. So yeah, there's a lot more choice if you're an experienced player. That's good. But I like Exile's Reach, and here's why. So new players will automatically go to Exile's Reach, a revamped newbie zone that helps players understand the current world and mechanics better. They do not have the option to choose a different starting zone. Experienced players leveling alts will have the option to go to Exile's Reach or to one of the traditional starting areas for their race class, etc. We don't know as yet how that's going to work for, say, Death Knights, Demon Hunters, Goblins, Worgen, Pandaren, because they have a very specific starting zone that gives flavour to their, either to their race, like the Goblins and the Worgen, or to their class, the Demon Hunters, the Death Knights. So we don't know how that's going to work, because they are starting from level 1 now. With regards to Demon Hunters, which were 98, I want to say at the top of my head. They're now all starting at level 1. So it'll be interesting to see. I think allied races will start at 10. So you'll miss out that starting bit, which is basically what you get now. You start at 20. Now, let us look at Exile's Reach. Exile's Reach is a newly discovered uncharted island. An expedition was sent out 2 weeks before. Nobody has heard from it since. You are sent with a second force to find out what happened to the first. Exile's Reach will culminate in a 2-boss mini-dungeon that can be played either solo or in a group of up to 2 to 5 players. Traditional balanced dungeon parties are not required. Dungeon scales the size and abilities of the party. I wish to underline that we will be talking about that in a later video, because I believe that that is going to be something akin to the future of World of Warcraft. Maybe not for Mythic, but we'll talk about it at a later time. But for now, let's take a breath. Okay, so now we know all that. How does that help new players? Well, to start with, they're going to be drawn into an interesting, we hope, story. Meaning they'll be engaged, wanting to experience more, to see more, and to understand, what's happening. Which means they'll get over that hump, that bit where you've got your first 10 levels out the way. Hopefully they'll be engaged and they'll want to go forward, and they'll want to stick with the game. Now, you may be sat there with 40 120s. All of them are 450 item level. All of them with a 2,000 plus Rio score. And you're thinking, I don't care what new players are doing. It doesn't bother me. I'm a god at this game. But in fact, it does. Because it benefits everybody with this new zone being the newbie zone. Blizzard can control what is learned. They can control how they teach people. Because if you're an experienced player, you can go and do your own thing elsewhere. You can go and pick cactus apples. It doesn't matter. But this new zone is for brand new players. So get this. Some crazy stuff. What if you're a tank? And in this new zone, they're going to teach you, this mob does cleave attacks. If it does that, it's going to hit everybody that stood around you. So just turn around so the back is facing the group so they don't get hit. Okay. You could go, hey, you're a DPSer. Here's a quick one for you. See that red stuff underneath you? That's what's making your health go down. Don't stand in it. Just literally, just a little bit to the side. You want to scoot just a little bit to the side? Yeah? Good for you, buddy. And if you're a healer, they can teach you that it's always your fault. Sorry, it always is your fault. That's what they can teach healers. No, healers, they can teach you dispels and, just how to heal a group in a non-pressure environment, especially if you're using NPCs and things like that. You can understand your abilities, understand what's going to happen. You know, all joking aside. And they can also teach you things like interrupts. You know, oh no, this big mob's going to hit me, but my interrupt's on cooldown, says your NPC tank. Hey, blop blop, champion, can you interrupt this for me? It's this ability! And then the, you know, cast bar is 20 minutes long, so you can get to find your interrupt. And you're like, okay, cool. Then the next mob's got another one, and then suddenly it's 10 minutes long the time you've got. It's like, oh, there we go, hit it. And it gets to teach people interrupt, it gets to teach people things. That's good! Teach them class-specific things, like, if you're a warlock, give gates. You can give them, you know, health stones to people and buffs and so on and so forth. Whatever your class has, teach people. This hopefully helps everyone. That rager in your group when you're doing M+, who's just having a go at everybody for every reason. Oh, I had one in an M+ I did earlier. I had one where he was screaming at everybody for being complete noobs. Literally 30 seconds before he had died as the tank, came back and went, sorry, my kettle went, so I went to go and make tea. While we were pulling a boss? And then literally 30 seconds later. So, yeah, you've got that rage, hopefully they can now just chill out a little bit. Just relax. You know, just relax. Because your new healer, well, don't worry, they've done the newbie zone. They know what Dispel is. You know, they know now, you know, whoever they are, that they can interrupt. Your DPS will always ball too much and stand in fire. Don't expect anything from us to DPS, alright? We've got to worry about our numbers. That's important. Getting out of fire. Do you know how long that takes? Oh, I'm not going to do that. It's the healer's job to keep me alive. Anyway, back on track. So time will tell how this new starting zone is going to work. We don't know. We haven't seen it. This is just literally what's come out of BlizzCon. I would love to see, as well, a newbie guild. I've said this many times before. I would love to see, if you start on Newbie Island, you get put in Newbie Guild. A Newbie Guild is just people chatting, trying to understand things in a, I'm going to say it, don't get triggered, in a safe space. Just in a place where they can go. And more important than a safe space is it breaks the back of people fearing joining guilds. Because they understand what it is. It's not scary. It's not terrifying. Have a community manager logged into the guild at all times, so they can control things. Maybe do, you know, the first dungeon run. We can take you through that. We can sort that out. Give people more of an understanding. As I say, I think guilds are huge in this game. I think they've been slowly killed off over time, and I've said this before, so I won't dwell on it. But I would like to see them brought back. Regardless, everything that we've heard is a massive step in the right direction. So come the beta for Shadowlands, we'll see. And I'll leave you the words of Blizzard themselves. Alright, with regards to leveling. 15 years. 8 expansions can overwhelm and confuse new players. The traditional newbie zones don't adequately prepare brand new players to the wide variety of concepts even a beginning player needs to know to progress through World of Warcraft. The challenge is how to balance the requirements of new players with the needs of experienced players who want to level up alts ready for endgame. Like many things in Shadowlands, this is me talking now, let's hope that they can meet that challenge and exceed it. Because good times are ahead. For as bad as BFA has been, I think we are going to have fantastic experience coming up with Shadowlands. I'm excited for it. But I think we do need new blood. We need new people in the game. We can't be this community that's closed off and, oh, look, sub numbers went up. Yeah, well, they went up because people came back to play the game, as they always do. I've got friends that aren't playing WoW at the moment. They'll come back when Shadowlands comes out. Well, that doesn't help. We need new blood in the game, new people that want to play and to do new things. Because WoW needs numbers. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with admitting it. Does it mean the game's dying? No, it can survive and the numbers is on, fine. But realistically, you want more. And I hope the experience we're going to get in Shadowlands is so good that people want to play more. Even those that have left. Come back, have this amazing experience. And I hope this is the first step for new players to have this 1 to 10 zone is going to be huge. In my personal opinion, I think it's going to be very important. I think many of us, older, experienced veteran players, will be like, nah, I'm going to go and do whatever. But I think this is such a critical, important step for gaining new players and keeping them. And I think it shows Blizzard's mindset's in the right place. They might be making wrong decisions here and there, but I think unpruning I think the flexi dungeon stuff, which we spoke a little bit about, and I want to go into more in other videos. All of this is all good things, good signs of what's to come. But that is me done, ladies and gentlemen. It's over 20 minutes. I've been talking for long enough. So let's wrap this up. Leveling is done. Excited for what's coming with Shadowlands. Now I just need to go back and grind some more AP and sort my essences out. Have an amazing day, ladies and gentlemen. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Have a good one.